Hey, Professor Corey, this is Dan Triplet. This is my weekly update. This week, I went through this killer lesson of how to make a greeble tool. Um, it's really, really deep, and it's really, really cool. So let me show you what kind of stuff this can do. Like, this is just a basic plane that I've got this thing sitting on. But what happens is that the greeble tool actually measures the the polygons on the plane, and then you can subdivide those so that it will actually put like items that you make, like little just geo, and it'll put those in those items and resize them. So basically, right now I made like 17 pieces. So if I go up to my, this is my interface. So I've got like 17 objects in here right now that I made, just like little different objects, and they're within the file, links up to them, pulls them in here, and then randomly generates them in different spots based on like the subdivision of the polygons that are underneath. And then I have all these settings that I can go ahead and tweak out and play with. Let's see here. So I can go ahead and just like, I can change. There's like multiple layers. Like you have your initial plane that's extruded, and then you have things that are like on top of the plane. So let me go ahead, and it kind of chugs a little bit because it is a really heavy tool. So let me go ahead and just like kind of turn some of this stuff up. There it goes. It takes a little bit to update depending on how many iterations. So like right now, I've got 3 iterations. That means there's like 3 levels of complexity. So I can go ahead and just, I'm going to turn it up to like 5, which will slow it down even more. But you can see like it adds layers of complexity to it. So, it's almost like you're looking at the Death Star, so let's go ahead, and so you can go ahead and change the randomness just to like move things around. So in the X, Y, and Z, I typically leave the Z alone because once you start messing with that, pieces start flying off just because of the nature of the direction it's moving. So I generally leave the Z pretty low. And then you can play with the scale, how little, how tall can these things get. And then one of the coolest things about this these lessons that I'm working through is that you actually can go into your grid here and you can change this to, let's say, triangles. And give it a second. Now, of course, that looks like a holy mess, but then you can go back in and tweak your numbers. So let's just knock this down to like 3 again. Give the computer a break, and let's knock the scale down here. I think that's probably what's making it kind of crazy looking. And this thing will start to divide based on even triangles. So it will like cut the stuff and fit it based on triangles. So let me actually, I think what's going on here is sometimes like the reason why you have these sliders is because different settings look better with other with different setups, if you will. So like here, this kind of looks interesting, sort of futuristic. Now this is cool. Watch this. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn on like a mountain stop. So it just starts bending this thing. And let's see here. Let's just turn up the levels here. Height. Anyway, you get really crazy. But it does some interesting things. I can see this being kind of cool for, even motion graphics for some of these things. So let's turn that off. Now, here's what's cool. So like I set up a switch. I did this on my own. So I have different pieces of geometry coming into here. So if I want to go to 3, or I should say 2, let's start at 0. Let's see what I have on 2. Uh-oh. It's the Death Star. There it is. And then, of course, this is basing everything on, you know, all this stuff. So that's why it's so tall, because I had the scale way high. Let's make that 0. And so, yeah, it does some really, really cool, you know, stuff. Let's just turn that up to like 7. Give it a second. When you turn the iterations up, it's like really, it's duplicating and putting way more detail on. So now the cool thing is I can actually layer detail on top of on top of the detail. So I could like just make another one of these tools, these greeble tools, and make that go on top of all the greebles I'm already making. So it can get ridiculously heavy. But as you can see, it's kind of chugging already, and my computer's fan is like blowing super hard. So it's cool, but it's like, it is heavy. Let's see. Let's go back down to like 3. Give it a break. And let's do one more thing. So I went ahead and made like a revolve. And okay, I don't really like this. Go back to 1 on the switch. And go to 2nd. This is a pretty heavy object. So I went ahead and did a revolve with NURBS, so you can kind of see the shape there. And it's chugging. I don't even know what the poly count is. I can probably check it, but it's probably ridiculous. I mean, that's the bottom line. But yeah, so now I'm just, you know, you can imagine like doing space stations and stuff like that with this kind of tool. And if I had a nice round edge shader, I wouldn't have to worry about beveling all the little pieces. I can just render. It would look really good. So there's just an example. I can turn the subdivision off, and then you can see like you get a totally different look to it. And so now, of course, it's running fast because it's, you know, way less intense. But, you know, come here and, I don't know, make this like 8. And then, boom, it's starting to look more complex. It's really neat. It was a tough lesson, but I had fun figuring, you know, all this stuff out. And you want to see, like, these networks are ridiculous. And then inside the networks, you have all these networks. So it was like pulling teeth. But the end product I was so happy with, so I'm really enjoying myself. Anyway, have a good week. Thank you for watching this. Happy Easter.